everybody, it's Patty, and I'm actually have sort of missed a couple of your Nutrition Wednesdays. So, for those of you who are new, I'm Patty Hall, and I'm with Get Balance 2020. Now, while you're wondering what Get Balance 2020 is, I'm going to do my real quick homework or housekeeping, and then we'll get on to what it's all about today because we're talking about diet fads versus what a lifestyle diet plan is for you. And I'm not talking about diet fad, I'm talking about your diet of what you put into your mouth. So Get Balanced 2020 is all about teaching you through videos that are free to you, using all the education, experience, blood, sweat, and tears that I've done for many, many years. And it's giving you the education how to transform your mind into thinking more positively, more successful, more towards getting your goals met. It's also touching on spirit, our belief system, and how that works with our mind and how to put that together, as well as nutrition and fitness. Now, I have a background in nutrition and fitness many years ago and education as well. And so you'll get to hear some of those kind of things. So if you haven't seen me on YouTube, this is your first time, welcome. But actually, what I do is go on YouTube, but I also have a Facebook channel, and besides the YouTube channel and the Facebook channel and a website. So if you've missed some of the videos, please, you can always private message me, text me, instant message me, whatever you need to do. You can pick the videos that resonate with you, whether it's nutrition, whether it's exercise, whether it's actually just transforming your mind into a more healthy lifestyle to get balance, because without one of those elements, there is no balance. And so we want to get our lives balanced, especially as we get older. We should actually sort of be there, but we're not always there. So that's what Get Balanced 2020 is about. I do take appointments. I don't expect any appointments, but if you need a one-on-one, please go to my website, getbalance2020.com. There's a button in the corner for you to choose either a program. You can see what the programs are all about: nutrition, fitness, life coach, spiritual coach, whatever you need. Those are there for you. So with that all set aside, I would like to get started. And so what today we're talking about, which like I said, I do these on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Videos are usually done those days. And go to the website, you can see what I do there. But I have missed a couple of Wednesdays on nutrition, and I've been praying really hard about it, what I want to get across to you. And my daughter has been the most great key to just sit and bounce ideas off, because she isn't as into nutrition and fitness as I am, but she's very healthy, but she does eat really, really well. But as far as the exercise portion, so I get a lot of feedback from her. So today our topic is going to be, what is really a good lifestyle of diet and eating for you versus all these diets, and a lot of times, as you can see, I'm not really a thin ninny. I am actually a little robust. But I used to be 215 pounds. And a year later, I was on stage at 136 pounds on a bodybuilding stage, competing for the first time, scared out of my pants, actually my posing suit. But the thing is, I learned so much from that year, not only about my body and what I was putting into it, but my mind process of everything, of what I was putting in, how much of it I was putting in, whether it was carbs, fats, proteins, when to put them in, when, you can get really technical, but when it really comes down to it, it's how many calories in and how much we expend out. And basically, that's the whole process of the way our body works. Simple. What we put in has to come out. And if it doesn't, if we don't eat the proper foods, then it gets stuck in us. We get toxic. We get zits. We get problems with our stomach, our bowel tract system, and all that kind of stuff. So having a lifestyle of eating and exercise is key to getting balanced. And then we put the mind and spirit together. But the thing is, what I'm talking about, now I'm going to have somebody come up to me and say, well, I do the keto diet, or I do the paleo diet, or, Atkins really worked for me, or the zone really worked for me. And, in all reality, specialty diets, when I was working in the hospital in the nutrition, there are specialty diets. There are specialty diets too, if you're on a renal diet. If you're having that means if you're having kidney problems, if you're a diabetic, there's a special diet for that. If you're on a low salt diet, and let me tell you, out of all the clients that I've had over the years, I would have to say if somebody needs to lose weight, that's not a huge issue. But somebody who has to be put on a low salt diet, oh, Lord Jesus, us American people, not only that, I lived in Japan for years, the salt that we put in our foods, oh my goodness, it brings up a high heart issue and heart attacks and just heart disease is what I'm trying to say. So salt is so hard to get somebody off of. I would rather get somebody off trying to lose weight on a fat, getting fat down than their salt. Very, 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 very challenging because a lot of us don't read labels. A lot of us don't do all the necessary things. But when you're put in a life-threatening situation, renal diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, then it's mandatory that you have to get on the horse and you literally have to do your homework on how to steer your life, take those reins in and really learn how to do that. That's the only time I would say that any human being really needs to be on a specialty diet, because our system, when we go to these fad diets, we are throwing our system so off, and we are all individual. So maybe that diet is doing something internally that you can't see that is really not good. Now, I don't want people coming at me. I really don't. And this is my personal opinion, working from the nutrition field, working back in the day, we used to have a low fat. In fact, the book that I wrote, the one that I authored and is published, it was in that time area that we were into a low fat, no fat zone and diet. Now, my book was sort of based on that only because of the bodybuilding that I was in and the weight that I was losing and the naivety, because I hadn't gone to college yet for nutrition, but it still has a great base to what is needed to do in order to drop weight. Because it's not only a book, but it's also a cookbook. So it helps you keep that fat down. We'll talk about fats a little bit later today. So on that note, and I didn't even know what time I started, 1:33. So basically, you want to be able to get on a lifestyle, not a diet. Now, if people say, well, I'm on the keto diet, well, you better really research what that does to your body and your kidneys, because when you're on a keto diet, it's basically more protein and less carbohydrates, and it's really, really taxing on those kidneys. And if you have ever had kidney stones and things like that, it's very, very hard on your body. And it can't be something that's sustained the rest of your life because you will have issues. So that in itself, or if you were on, oh gosh, some of these other diets, I don't even stay up with them because they're crazy. So it may work for you for a short time, but you have to sit back and analyze what the long-term effects are for your body, for your organs, for your gut, for your colon and your small intestines, and even your heart, okay? There are things that you can do with your diets, like all different kinds of things. I don't want to go to there because we're going to get way overhead. So what we're talking about is just the fads versus a healthy lifestyle. Now, what happens with a fad, and if you are my age or even a little bit younger, not much, you will have seen through the decades all the different things. It's this, people. It's all about this. And what it is, it's sort of like, do you guys remember, what's his name? Richard Simmons, that guy? He really didn't have a lot about nutrition. He really didn't have a lot about fitness. He was lean. He was active. He wanted to move. He had a flippin' good marketer. That's what got him sold. That's what got him big bucks, is the marketing. And that's the thing with fads. And that's the thing, is sort of in this day and age when this is being videotaped, we're going through the coronavirus. It's all about what the news, the media, and everybody's got people panicked rather than looking at the information that you need to analyze it the best for you and your family. Diets do the same thing with you and your body because they want to reach into your pocketbook and not really care about you personally. Because if they did care about you, they would first say, this diet may need for you to go to the doctor and get checked to see if it's good for you first. And a lot of these, and I'm not putting anybody down, they do whatever they want. That's why America is the way it is, free will. But when you start putting when I put somebody on, not only when I was managing in the gyms and I was personal training and I was putting my clients on a certain exercise regime, maybe weight loss or weight gain, or maybe they're bodybuilding, I need to know how healthy you are from a doctor's standard or for where my standard is. Can you handle it? Can your body handle it? And it's the same thing with nutrition, is can your body actually assimilate or be able to handle or just deal with it. This came to mind. Thank you. This came to mind because back in the day, and they still sell this product. Drives me crazy. There's a product out there. I'm not going to say the name of it, but it starts with the letter A. And if you go into the pharmaceutical area, you can pick it up. And you take these pills, and I did it for a test just to see what would happen. I think it's pills, if I remember right. Anyway, how about let's say it's a girl's name. So basically, it starts with an A, it's a girl's name. And so what you do is you take these, and they say, oh, it's going to shed fat. It's going to shed fat. And yeah, well, you know what it does? It literally gives you diarrhea, and you end up with literally fat nodules all over your toilet bowl because you are getting rid of the fat, but you're also getting rid of the good fat and the bad fat. So it's really bad. It was the worst time of my life. Oh my God, why I did that as an experiment, I don't know. But yeah, if you want to see a really interesting toilet bowl, take those pills and really put your gut through something. But anyway, you got to really do your research because these fad diets don't work. They are there for your pocketbook. They will work for you for a short time. So what you want to do is when you're learning about exercise and nutrition, what you want to do is you want to learn about the right way to eat. Now, if we were back in the day when we had horses and plows and the 1800s, when we really had to work for food, if you look at all their food back then, we call it clean. Okay, and what clean is, it is straight from the source. So if I'm going to have, I don't know, I'm going to have stew. I want to make a stew. That is going to be straight from the cow or the chicken or whatever meat you're going to choose to put in there. The potatoes are going to be straight from the earth. The carrots are straight from the earth. The onions are straight from the earth. And usually the broth is made from the meat that you're using. So basically everything is fresh elements. Steamed broccoli, steamed cauliflower. And you're like, oh my God, that all sounds too healthy and boring. There's ways to actually dress up your foods. And these are things that you have to come. So here's the thing with changing your lifestyle to a eating lifestyle to a new way of trying and doing things. The thing that you need to do is put on a piece of paper all the foods that you like. Don't put the foods that you don't like. Make a list of the foods that you like and that you like to eat. Now, the key is when you do that, when you're writing down on that piece of paper with the foods that you do like, you need to sort of close your eyes and imagine yourself walking around the grocery store. And, as you come in the grocery store, basically everything that is healthy and clean straight from the source, whether it's from a plant or an animal or dairy is considered part protein. So basically you're going to get those all on the outside of the grocery store. So imagine yourself walking on the outside of the grocery store, and what kind of foods do you really like to eat from there? I like white fish. Oh, I like shrimp. Oh, or if you can't think of anything, go in and Google foods, great foods. So you could also Google proteins. What are good proteins? And take your list from there. What are good simple carbohydrates, which are all your fruits and vegetables, because they're lower in a carbohydrate. They're healthy. We're going to try to stay away from complex carbohydrates like your rices and your pastas, and potatoes are good, but those are also a complex carbohydrate, which create sugar. So we'll talk about those in a minute. But what you want to do is think about, what kind of meat do I like? And make a list of your meats. What kind of vegetables do I like? Make a list of your vegetables. Fruits, make a list of your fruits. Those turn to sugars, so you want to sort of moderate in how much you're going to be eating those, but put those on your list. And then go ahead and put your grains like rice, quinoa, couscous, those kind of things, and Google them if you have to do that. You make your list, and that's what you're going to work your diet off of. And that's easy because these are foods that you like and enjoy. Now, off of that list, you are going to find out as you go and you make things, then basically you're going to be picking, no joke, 16 of those foods that you normally eat per week. And it's on a continuous basis. We're a creature of habit. So a lot of our habits are based on what we like, not what we don't like, but what we like. So 16 of those foods you normally eat on a regular basis. Think about it. How much chicken do you eat? What is the meat that you eat the most of? And those kind of things. So just think about those, and you're going to go from there. So when you want to pick a healthy lifestyle, you've got your list of foods, and you're like, well, I don't want to spend all day cooking. I don't either. I don't have the time. I have to work, and I do a lot of things on the side, so I don't have time. And what we'll do with that lifestyle is we'll find a time in the week where we have a couple hours to ourselves that we're going to sit there and create a few meals, and we're going to freeze those meals so that we have them for the week, so we don't cheat, or maybe we don't have time, or maybe you just look in the refrigerator, I'm hungry for something, and you can pop something into the microwave, that kind of thing. Or I don't like the microwave, but you can heat it up if you get what I mean. Okay, so what we're going to look at is basically taking that lifestyle, and we're going to make it a forever thing. Now, fad diets are not forever thing. Remember, I started bodybuilding back in, when did I start? 91, somewhere around back there. And I had just, believe, turned 30. I think it was 30 or 31 for my first bodybuilding competition. Now, you got to forward yourself to my age now, and I'm not going to tell you what age I am, but I have eaten that same lifestyle all my life. I changed it. It became a habit. It became customary. It became just part of who I am today. There are a few times when I would go back, and don't get me wrong, I like sweets. I like complex carbohydrates. I like potatoes. Favorite one is pizza. I like those kind of things, but I don't make it a habit to stay and eat the crap. I just don't, because it doesn't help my body. I've not been sick. I've maybe been sick once in so many years. My immune system is extremely strong. I have a lot of muscle on me. I do have some excess fat, but there's reasons for that, and that's my fault. But the other thing is that I'm healthy. And that's the whole key. When you do these fad diets, you are throwing your body up and down, up and down. In fact, I had a doctor one time, this was not too long ago, I was complaining because, man, you know what? My metabolism has always been so slow, and I just want to lose a few pounds. And he's like, Pat, really? Why are you complaining? Most people at your age would want to be at a stable weight. You've been this stable weight for many years, and it's so healthy to do that rather than going up and down, up and down, up and down, because that really causes a lot of stress on your heart, your blood system, your organs, and everything else. So I just sort of thought about it, and I was like, yeah, you know what? It is what it is, and this is the way it is for right now. That was years ago. But the thing is, it's healthy, and that's what we want. We want to live a healthy, functional, active life as we grow up, grow older. Now, if you're younger, it's really important for you to start this at an early age, because you want to get your body fit, because as you get older, your chances of your metabolism, well, not chances, your metabolism will slow down, but you'll have already set a great foundation for your body to be able to maintain through your older years or your baby years or whatever it is. So healthy lifestyle So you're going to take those 16 foods or your list, and it doesn't take much. You can bake a whole tray of chicken and you'll have frozen chicken for a while. You can take fish and you can either fry fish, bake fish, whatever. You can do it whatever way you want. You can deep fry it, whatever, because we're going to talk about fats in a minute. But the thing is, you can take any of these foods, do them whatever way you like. When I was bodybuilding, I never even thought about it that much, but I lived with my trainer for a while, and he actually, and no, and not in that manner. We were roommates. Actually, we were working hard, actually very hard. So don't think that. But the thing is, we were working really hard. I would actually watch how he would prepare his foods and how he actually went through his daily life. Now, I couldn't do what he did, but he looked at food as just fuel. And that's the way you sort of have to look at it. It's just fuel. He would take a whole tray of chicken and put it on a tray, put a whole thing of salsa over it, and bake it. And I was like, that sort of looks weird, but let me try it. Oh my gosh, it's so good. And then he would take broccoli and just do a ton of broccoli because he was making it for a week and steam it and make his little trays of food, throw them in the refrigerator, put his little lunch pail, put whatever he needed in for that day and go. Because when you look at food in a sense of basically not just fad diets, but looking at it as fuel for what your body needs, remember what you put in has to come out. And the other thing is what calories you put in may not come out. They may just stick to you. And that's a whole nother topic for another time. But the thing is, fad diets sit there and they don't tell you, well, they can tell you how many calories, but they don't know what you're doing every day, how you live, how your body works, how your organs work, because everybody's individual. Whereas a lifestyle, it's just fuel to feed you. Yes, we used to have one day as a cheat day, and basically we took that day and we ate whatever we wanted, but then we'd go out dancing for the rest of the night. So even though we ate what we wanted, we were still expending in a way that we enjoyed. So when you do a fad diet and you starve your body of whatever nutrient it needs. Now, if you say, oh, I'm going on a low-fat diet and no-fat diet and all that kind of diet, and yeah, you drop a few pounds for the first week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever it is, but then what are you starving in your body? Your body does need fat. It really, really does. And we need a certain percentage of fat to maintain. We need a certain percentage of carbohydrates, whether it's simple or complex carbohydrates, or help our electrolytes, or actually our thinking process. And I'll tell you a story in a minute about that. And so basically what we want to make sure is we're just eating a good balanced plate, as I've talked about in another video about plate sizes, how often we should eat, and that's on YouTube as well. So if you haven't seen that video, I suggest to go back and see that one, because that's all about elements of how much we eat, when we eat, plate size, everything. So go back to that one and see that one, because that would be really good mirrored into this video here. So when you're doing a fad diet, though, you're basically starving some nutrients from your body. I take vitamins, I take this, I take that. That's great. There's nothing wrong with it. Are you deficient in those vitamins? So this is the thing, is people go into thinking about the marketing and the fads of all these diets, but they're not thinking about what they really are putting in. Vitamin E was really big for the long time. Do you know that vitamin E is a fat-soluble vitamin, which means it's not water-soluble like C is, where you pee it out. Fat-soluble is where it sticks to you, literally fat is in your body, so you can become toxic if you have your vitamin E toxic if you have too much of it in you. So you have to be aware and knowledgeable about what you're putting in your body. So fads don't take into account for everything that your body literally needs. Now, yes, organic is really great, but is it really organic? Another topic for another time. Somebody's going to say, well, I do flaxseed, I do this, I do that. Great. Does your body need it? So you're asked to be put on a fiber diet. Well, fiber does the opposite. To me, if a doctor tells me I want to put you on a high fiber diet, I'm like, well, you're really wanting to clog me up, because my body doesn't work that way. My body works in reverse. I know my body like the back of my hand. My body works in reverse. Know your body through what you're putting in your body and what is actually being expended. Yeah, go and look in the toilet bowl and what your poop looks like. Really, this sounds disgusting, but in all reality, that tells the tale of what your body is actually doing. So when you go back to a lifestyle, let's keep on that and we're going to sort of finish up with this portion on that, is that your lifestyle has to be something that you can be comfortable to maintain the rest of your life on what you eat. And it has to be something that you're going to do consistently, persistently, meal by meal, day by day, week by week, that you are comfortable with it and you can deal with it. For me, as I've gotten older, I've had to readjust my diet because my body has changed. I went through menopause, so my body and my hormones have changed in balance. I cannot eat complex carbohydrates like I used to. Now, complex carbohydrates, a reminder, is your starches like your pasta, potatoes, rice, those kind of things, because what it does is that's a complex carbohydrate, and that creates sugar in our system, which creates fat. But also, it breaks my face out like no tomorrow. So my body has changed. So it's really, really important to listen to your body. And how can you listen to your body when you're going through diet fads and you're going like this all over the place? What your body doesn't even know how to calculate where it is and what it's doing. It's deficient here, it's deficient there, whatever. Whereas a lifestyle of balance, that's what we teach in Get Balanced 2020, balance of what you've got, then you're able to maintain. And if something is wrong, say your face starts breaking out or whatever it is, you're like, why? You go back to the food that you're putting in your body first. Did something change? Did I eat something different? Did I add an oil different? Did I add maybe a company brand different? You will be able to figure it out like that within a few minutes. Now, if it's not a food, then it has to be something I either put on my body or a medication somebody, is on, that kind of thing. But most of the time, it's the foods that we're putting in our body. When you're on a lifestyle of a good, healthy, clean diet, you'll be able to monitor everything, your health, your wealth, your body wealth, of everything there. So that's the whole key of getting on a balanced lifestyle eating plan. Now, if you have questions about, well, I would like more information, please don't hesitate to go to my website. And if you want to do a one-on-one, we'll sit down and get what that is and what your balance is and how your age is and your weight is and your activity is and all that kind of stuff, because all those things come into play. And that's why mind, spirit, body all come into play on what you're doing and how to make your lifestyle happen for the rest of your life. This is not a diet. I really am tired of hearing people going on these diets. I shut my mouth up because everybody has their opinion, but I have some people even in my office that are sworn on this. Well, come back to me in a couple of years and tell me how your kidneys are working. Yeah, and let me tell you how many times you've been to the doctor. They're in the doctor all the time. I go to the doctor because maybe I need my knee replaced because of the weights that I used to lift. Too heavy. Or maybe my knees, and that's another time for fitness. Or maybe I'm doing squats and I'm going below 90 and I've just opened up my knee and really just damaging my whole patella and the whole thing in there, that I'm going to need a knee replacement. That's for Fitness Friday. Something you want to look at. So that is what we want to do. Stop doing fads, diet fads. Research for yourself. Do a nutrition log for a week or 2 weeks. And the nutrition log is, how do I feel? What am I putting into my body? How did I feel after I put that into my body? Did I have more energy? Was I sluggish and sleepy? It's sort of like the turkey at Thanksgiving time kind of thing. After we eat turkey, it has tryptophan in it. Yes, people, it's going to make you sleepy. So you want to undo your belt and you want to take a nap. That's something maybe somebody doesn't know, but maybe if they educate themselves, they would know. Sugar, oh, I got a ton of energy. And 15 minutes later, you want to sleep. So you got to really understand and know what you're putting into your body. Now, when you do your lifestyle, when you sit down, I'm like, yeah, I want to do this. I want to do this. Okay, I got my list of foods. I've got what I really like. Now what do I do with it? Okay, so what you want to do is when you're doing your lifestyle, get yourself a salad plate. Okay, and when you're doing this, if you don't have a salad plate or even know what a salad plate is, and I should have brought one, but it's in another video. So basically, you want to take the smaller plate, and what you're going to do is you're going to take the protein, and I would say on proteins, be careful. You really only want to do beef because it's got saturated fat and it plays a lot with heart disease, is only about once a week. Any other meat, chicken, turkey, fish is really, really great, shellfish, and those kind of things. You got to learn what you like and play it in. But try to keep your beef at about once a week. Pork, if you eat pork and it's something that you do eat, it does have a little bit higher saturated fat, but you can still put that instead of beef if you choose to do that. Now, on your plate, you want to go ahead and put a piece of meat that is about the size of your palm, only I'm just giving you some visuals, okay? Because you're like, well, I don't want to weigh everything. I don't want to measure everything, that kind of thing. So here's visuals. People are very visual, and this is how we work. So take a piece of meat that is about the size of your palm. So when you're making hamburgers at home, or you're going to barbecue or whatever, and you're like, well, I've got so many people to feed, or I don't know how big, you get a big 2-pound thing of meat or whatever it is. How big should I make these? Imagine the palm of your hand. Now, yeah, you might have a 6'5" guy at home and his palm of his hand is really big. Well, he's going to take more calories because he is a bigger guy and he probably works really hard physically, muscles and all that kind of stuff. Maybe not. It doesn't matter. Just go by the size of the palm of your hand for the meat. Now, that doesn't mean that you make the size of the palm of your hand for your meat and then you make it about 2 inches thick. No. So most hamburgers are 1/4 of a pound. So that would be 4 hamburgers in 1 pound. And why I know that is when I first started, I did start measuring, got my scales out, weighing. That's really, really helpful, extremely helpful. I would recommend that. It's in the other video because it's extremely important to know exactly how much you're eating, what you're putting in, because what comes out. So because you could gain weight. If you want to lose weight, there's a reason for that too. So your meat's going to be about the size of your palm, which is about 1/3 of your plate. Okay. And then on your complex carbohydrates, your potatoes, your pastas and everything, I would say stay with your potatoes, stay with something that is clean, and couscous or quinoa is not, but couscous, those kind of things. I'm trying to think of some. I'm having a brain fart. But you want to do about 1/3 of your plate, and the rest is going to be all vegetables. The more vegetables you eat, the better. So you're going to have a major portion of that plate with, your broccoli or your cauliflower, asparagus, whatever it is that you love, or even mix them up. And, a lot of times in America, we have a certain way of cooking that our parents had taught us. Try something new. When I started, I just steamed everything and I got really sick of steaming. I started frying stuff. I started baking stuff. I started mixing and matching. And I lived in the Orient in Japan for a while. We call it the Orient, but that's an old term. But the thing is, they have different ways of doing things. And I would implement sometimes their ways and times in the American ways. And so play with it. Play with it. But your plate should have majority of vegetables. And you say, well, what about a salad? Can I do a salad? Sure. You can have much salad as you want. It's what you put on it. Make sure it's vegetables and things like that. But when you put on all these extra croutons and bacon, all this other stuff, you're adding more calories. All depends on what your goal and your purpose is. So that's sort of on the plate side. So a healthy lifestyle, eating that way, maybe twice a day with 3 snacks, because for what I train in is I at least nibble all day, but then I have like 1 big meal at lunch. Breakfast is a semi-big meal. Dinner is just maybe a salad or something light because I'm not exercising or doing anything at the end of the day. I don't want to ingest all those calories and then it just sits there and it doesn't get burnt up, is what I'm trying to say. Try not to eat a couple of hours before you go to bed. You want to go to bed on an emptier stomach just because of the thought process and the dreams and things like that. You'll wake up really tired if you eat that way. But those are some of the things that are really important to get yourself balanced on your eating rather than doing these diet fads. Okay, and now really, really quick, And the reason why I talk about that is if you're like majority of the women out there, or, and I'm going to speak more women, but men are the same thing, or you're young and you are trying to drop some weight. Most of my clients were overweight women. And so basically, we have in our preconceived mind, because society or a family member or somebody has teased us that being fat is a bad thing. Now, don't get me wrong, fat can be unhealthy depending on where you're at, but it is not a bad thing. You got to get this out of your mind that fat is a bad thing. It's not a bad word. Somebody made it bad for you because it basically pounded into your head that you're nobody without being skinny, which is the wrong way to think. So I was abused sexually as a kid. My brother used to call me fatso, lead bottom. He used to not want to even sit by me. All these things that would just play on my psyche, that because I was overweight, that he was better than me and I was no good. Now, when I went back to look at those pictures as a child during that time of my life, he had the issue, not me, because I look at those pictures and I was not fat at all. So he had an issue, and we won't go into that, but that is something that is in the other person. And you need to understand that where you are in your weight is okay. If you want to lower your weight for health reasons or feeling better, that is a good thing, but your mental processing needs to change that. Please watch the Mindful Mondays and the Spiritual Saturdays, or get on my website and message me, and definitely we will talk, because I would love to help you get out of that mindset, because that's what's keeping you stuck or where you are. Now, when we look at fat in the factual part, and also too, the other thing is fat is needed for not only our survival, but it's just part of our body and our processing. So we have to look at fat in a positive manner. And I did not feel that positive manner until I did start weightlifting and start educating myself and all that kind of stuff. So when people would say, oh, fat, they would like think I was going to laugh or something. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Because they wanted a certain reaction. But fat is actually a good thing to do. And that's all about the mindset. It's all about the mindset, and it's all about your thinking process. Now, if you hear the word, well, she's obese, well, let me explain something about that. Obese is basically based from a very old chart that was established because they didn't have any other way to establish height, weight, proportions. Remember the day when you couldn't even be a flight attendant if you were not a toothpick? Okay, that's unrealistic. And as times have changed and people have changed, do you know that the average woman's size in this day and age of 2020 is a size 12 to 14? That's in America. Now, if you go to other countries, it's probably different, but in America, it's 12 to 14, where that expectation 20, 30 years ago was a size 6 or an 8. So we cannot keep that standard chart of our weight, height, proportions from decade to decade to decade, because people change. Back in the 80s, I had a surgery on my tailbone. And that surgeon came into my room and said something to the fact that she's obese. I bawled and bawled and bawled and bawled. And I was only like 140 pounds or 142 pounds. I'm 5'2", but they didn't take into account I was all muscle, but they called me obese. And I do have a big booty. So that's where a lot of well, you can't see it, but a lot of that goes. So they took the standard and said that I was obese. Well, anything 25% over that standard of whatever that weight area is for you is considered obese. So when we talk about that, we're talking about a lot of and majority of Americans. So the thing is stop worrying about it. Now, if you have some major health concerns and those kind of things that the doctor's saying this is not healthy for you and you need to lose some weight, then those kind of things can be addressed. But I will tell you from client after client after client, and the book that I wrote and the comments that I got, a lot of what we have problems with about losing our weight is not in our body, it's in our mind, because we stunt our mind and we cannot go any further without allowing the negative to drop off and the positive to kick in, and believe that we can do anything if we choose to do it. But we're so stuck on this negative fat thing that we cannot move forward. So when they go to fad diets, when we go back to fad diets, they're focusing in on diet, fat, lose weight, lose weight. It's not good. It's not good. But the thing is, they're looking at fat in a negative connotation rather than a positive connotation. They're not addressing, like my book does, not addressing the psychological aspects of fad diets where they get stuck in its negative, where you can think positive about it, reverse it, and then things can go change. It's all about the mind process and the thought process of our self-esteem, what we've been taught, what we've heard, and that goes deep into our spirit, and that's why mind, spirit, and body come together. So fad diets don't work. Lifestyle transformation changes when we have a eating lifestyle transformation. So those are some of the things that I wanted to talk about today. That in itself, I will just say, a lot of my clients in the past were women. And when we really got down to it, the deep and dark and dirty of why they were heavy, the tears would flow, the understanding from the empathy from me, I get it. A lot of them have been abused. Mentally, sexually, physically, and their self-esteem about themselves is in the toilet. I'm getting goosebumps, God's speaking to me right now. This is for somebody out there. You can lose the weight if that's something you want. Don't do it for somebody else. If it's a weight gain, maybe you're having issues with anorexia, bulimia, those kind of things on the other aspect, you can build weight. You can go ahead and accept yourself wherever you are and build weight. Trust me, I have been there. I've been in those trenches. I've done my spiritual and mind work, and the weight comes off when you give yourself some grace, some love, some empathy, and get your life balanced. And that's what Get Balanced 2020 is about. And that's why I'm giving back all my education experience and time to help somebody out there, because this is God's gift to me to give to you. It's not for me. I am the conduit for him. So hopefully this has touched somebody's heart out there, helped somebody. If you have questions, you're confused about life process eating, life transformation eating, just get off of the fads and sort of do some of the basics. Look at my other videos on mindful or on Nutrition Wednesday, and those will help you with setting up. And then if you have questions from there, I don't want people to spend money if they don't have to. That's not why I'm doing this. But if you definitely need a one-on-one, then reach me at getbalance2020.com, and we will get together, either Skype, FaceTime, whatever, and do a one-on-one, and I'm there for you. I just want to see you succeed. I want to see that bad self-esteem and negativism go away and you succeed as a healthy, whole person. I wish you the best today. It is the weekend here. It's sunny and beautiful, and I want you all to be safe. Don't go crazy with this coronavirus thing. It's marketing and it's money. Anyway, I love you folks. I hope you well, and I am going to stop this and you have a great day. All right. Bye. Yeah, I am with this one.